Hi friends, welcome to my new video of my channel Cosmo Info. Here we discuss about ISRO's achievements and failures. There was a godfather named Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. It was established by his own, you can say, enthusiasm or his own interest. And here we can see an helping hand as APJ Abdul Kalam. So here we are. In our first chapter, we want to tell about ISRO's achievements and ISRO's budget friendly systems. India's Space Research Organization ISRO was founded on August 15, 1969, with Dr. Vikram Sarabhai as its founding father. Its early focused on developing satellite technologies for communication, remote sensing, and metallurgy. ISRO's first successful satellite launch, Aryabhatta, took place in 1975. Over the years, ISRO achieved significant milestones such as the Chandrayaan and Mangalyaan mission to the Moon and Mars, respectively. These are success showcased India's space capabilities on a global scale. ISRO continued to develop its launch vehicle like Polar Satellite Launch Vehicle, you also known as PSLV, which is recently used for Aditya L1 launch, and earlier in the you can say Mangalyaan in 2013, and GSLV, which is Geostationary Satellite Launch Vehicle. You also know this also as GSLV, which was used for Chandrayaan 2 and Chandrayaan 3 both. This organization has a low cost approach and indigenous technology development have earned in worldwide recognition. It continues to expand its capabilities, aiming for fortune and future missions in areas like space exploration and satellite communication. And what are the success rate of this organization? At first, when ISRO was newly built, they have many more failures. But one thing is that the space organization is it has a mad scientist team, and so that they have a very enthusiasm and interest that the speech failure is a pillar of success. Once a wise man said that if you fail, then you obviously know that you are the very much closer from your success steps. For this reason, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai's vision for space research in India was very wild, very kind, and very challenges. The era of launch Aryabhatta. ISRO's first satellite launch on 1975 by the help of India's own space research organization. The significance of Aryabhatta in Indian space research was very highly appreciated by all over the world. By the satellite launching, ISRO can achieve his milestones like a building blocks, development of satellite technology, communication, metallurgy, and remote sensing. It was the very much vital role to satellite revolutioning communicating and weather forecasting. It also be a very quite good vision for India's space research scientists and engineers both. ISRO can appoint many engineers and many technicians in every year. We can also join them at the end of our any graduation courses like BTech or any other else. Chandrayaan 1 mission was a very high, low cost and very like a building block like ISRO's success. Chandrayaan 2 mission was may have a milestone for India's Space Research Organization, but unfortunately it was crashed on Moon's surface. So it was a miserable incident for ISRO. But from then, ISRO can bounce back, and Miss ISRO now a very very low cost they send you can say satellite or you can say a lander or both you can say they send a lander and rover in the moon's surface and they made a soft landing on moon's surface and India became the fourth country who landed a vehicle or landed a module by soft landing on the moon's south pole, and India became the first country who made his soft landing on moon's south pole. It was a very proudly moment for all Indians. On that evening, when our Chandrayaan 3 was landing on the moon, I was watching this and I was very appreciated to the ISRO's scientists, and I was watching to their eyes that they have a very bright future. They were watching on that auditorium, or you can say on in front of the big screen. At on Chandrayaan 2 mission, ISRO's chairman was Mr. K. Sivan, who was a former scientist of ISRO, and for at the time of Chandrayaan 3 mission, the chairman was our chairman was you called changed or substituted to the Mr. S. Somnath, who can conduct this Chandrayaan 3 mission as soon as possible. And now, before some days back from the day, Aditya L1 was launched by ISRO under S. Somnath's, you can say, enthusiasm. So I am glad for ISRO. I am glad to be an Indian, and I am glad to be a low cost and pocket friendly institutions forever. Thank you. We all know that 2019 Chandrayaan 2 mission was not fully, 95% succeeded, but for the 5% it was failed for lost the communication. ISRO. It is our India's biggest and only most space research organization. By the name of ISRO, we can imagine a very big, very cheap budget space organization which can situated the satellites in the lower earth and upper earth orbits in very cheap cost and lowest prices. They can send their satellites from India or from any other nations. Any other nation can rent our rockets and lend our rockets many much money to send their satellites up, which nations cannot, you can say, develop their rocket science and technology. They should also, you can say, send out their satellites, their payloads in the lower Earth orbit by our PSLV rockets, but it has also many more failures. At the early era of ISRO, many failures was conducted by ISRO. August 10th, 1979, India's first experimental flight of SLV-3 carrying Rohini technology payload could not place the satellite into its intended orbit, becoming India's first major satellite failure. If we come to know about Rohini satellite crash, we have to know about Rohini satellite. SLV-3 and Rohini payload was trying to do away with piggy rides. Politics and rockets make stage bet follows. India's first space rocket SLV-3 took off from the Cyclorent Island of the Andhra coast amid spirited applause on the August 10th. Their 117 seconds later, it plugged into the Bay of Bengal for a premature splashdown. The test flight, originally scheduled for the later part of the year 1979. The test of the flight, originally scheduled for the later part of year, took place exactly 10 days before the crucial vote of confidence on August 20. Was it timed to add prestige to the Charan Singh government, just as Pokhran and Aryabhatta had done earlier for Mrs. Gandhi? No one is pretended to take about it. It was a clear morning at Sriharikota Island, the launch site. On August 10th, top scientists including India's Space Scientific Research Organization chairman Professor Satish Dhawan climbed down into a concentrated bunker equipped with closed circuit TV to watch the launching of SLV-3. The four-stage launch vehicle carrying a payload of 40 kg named Rohini satellite stood as tall as a seven-story building and weight was 17 ton. But here was a failure. SLV-3 had a beautiful liftoff at 7:45 and 2:48 a.m. as it left behind a thick trail of vapor for 68 seconds. The vehicle soared along the predicted course at the height of 23 km. Then comes the fatal malfunctioning in the second stage control system and it breaks down in the Bay of Bengal. Then we come to another failure of ISRO at March 24th, 1987. Soros 1 failed to reach Earth's orbit. The 150 kg satellite carried scientific equipments and instruments and was launched on board the first ASLV, that Augmented Satellite Launch Vehicle development flight. About this Soros 1 satellite, we can't get many very information from the ISRO site because it is prohibited by the ISRO government site. So we come to the next failure of ISRO, that July 10th, 2006, GSLV S02, India's first attempt at a heavy communication satellite, failed. Then we come to the next ISRO's failure, that July 10th, 2006, GSLV F02, India's first attempt at a heavy communication satellite, failed when launch vehicle could not complete the mission. It also has the INSAT 4C on board. August 31st, 2017, the PSLV C-39 in its 41st satellite failed when it was you can say is supposed, or it was definited to launch on IRNSS 1H. It has a normal lift off except the heat shield separation. This resulted that in the satellite being separated within a heat shield that resulted in a failed mission. And the most danger and most miserable failure of ISRO was September 7, 2019. We all know that about Chandrayaan 2. India's attempt to land in a robotic spacecraft close to the moon, South Pole, failed when ISRO lost communication with the satellite. The trajectory divided from its path, and that a radio fell silent. On that day, at night 1:30 around, all the Indians are watching on the TV or the radio broadcasts or the YouTube videos, YouTube lives, many YouTube channels. They can see how the line which indicates the Chandrayaan 2 soft landing was stopped at the height of around many close, this much close to moon's surface, and it broke down on the moon. By this incident, our former ISRO chief Sir K. Shivan was cried on the Prime Minister's, you can say, chest, and he just, you can say, take a pledge that Chandrayaan 3 will be India's first robotic mission on moon's south pole. And now 2003, we all can check in Google's, in, you can say, CD, that which nation who can first give his footprints on the south pole of moon. The answer is one, India. So you can say Jai Hind, Manda Mataram for all the Indians and all the people of the Indians who resident in the other nations. Thank you.